Never Give In, it's really just a song about staying true to yourself and following what you believe in. You know, in today's world, there's so many things that can distract you from your goals, so many temptations. And I believe if you can stay true to yourself and follow those goals and just kind of ignore the outside criticism, which seems to be a pretty huge issue, so many things that come your way, that make you doubt what you're doing. I guess a lot of opinions that people can have that can deter you from, I guess, what you think is right. So try to follow what you believe in, and the moral of the story really is just to stay true and not listen to that. Like it says, never give in, to the doubts, the temptations, the criticism, just if you believe something is right, most of the time it's probably in your best interest to follow that belief. So that's pretty much all it is. Funny thing about this song is it's actually the first song I ever recorded in the studio on guitar. I was probably like 16 or 17, and I was actually with James over at one of his buddies' houses. He had a buddy he was like a producer guy that lived actually like right down the street from me at the time. And I just went and laid out the guitar, and he really liked it, years later, I got a different band, and it was actually the first time I ever, because I brought this song to practice. It was the first time I ever successfully jammed that song with the band, even though it was just a drummer and a bass player. It was still pretty cool. Then a couple other years later, I met Tommy, and we started Fatal Flaw, and eventually I once again brought this song back to the table. Really, this is probably my favorite song on the album, just specifically for the memories of it. I never intended on being like a vocalist in any sense. I never, I guess, praised that in myself. I never really took that seriously, that aspect. But we looked for a very long time, and we just couldn't find anyone. And eventually I said, just screw it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I could hear things like in my head listening to the song, and I was like, I could try and see. It took a while, honestly, because it was terrible at first. We're both like, yeah, I think that's how you're supposed to do it. It was pretty funny, but eventually, things came around. And I'm actually pretty glad with how the song came out.